preseason action up in the Bay. LeBron, his first preseason action, as is the case for Russell Westbrook. First quarter, Westbrook's pass intercepted by Steph Curry, and then Steph goes boop, behind the back, off the glass. Russ had 7 turnovers in 17 minutes, going on with 2 points. Here's LeBron, trying to give him space still. Pretty good chance he's going to pull up, and he did. He had 9 points in 18 minutes. Easy night. Let's go to the second half. Lakers starters done. Ooh, Andre Iguodala feeds a cutting Jordan Poole. Poole had 28 points in this game. Get that action when you can, young fella. Steph, bucket. Steph, bucket. How many times are we going to say that this year? Probably a lot. He had 30 points and played 26 minutes. Okay, Dwight Howard.
Whoa.
Okay. Still getting it done. Late in his NBA career. Warriors win the game 121-114.
Hey, LeBron, Frank and Russ both mentioned the marathon of the season, and just wondering your perspective on the last 3 preseason games, what you want to see, if anything, before you guys get going in the real one against Golden State.
Just continue to build chemistry, continue to work our habits, continue to try to implement the new guys, new system and everything. So we've played some good ball at times, played some not so good ball at times, but that's obviously it's not a surprise to anyone. So, we got another one on Sunday, then Tuesday, Thursday, and just want to continue to work our habits.
We saw a stagger with you and Russ obviously start together, and then you went out. How do you think that can play out as the season goes on, having 1-2 on the floor?
I think there's a change throughout the course of the season, just to see what works best for our ball club. The more minutes that we get on the floor, we'll be able to log those minutes and see what works for the betterment of the team, for the better of myself and Russ. So we got to log the minutes first, though.
Hey, LeBron. I guess it's not that big of a room. When you've been in practice, like this is the first we've seen of you and Russ together. When it's been working in practice, what's worked so well with the combination? What have been your sort of favorite parts of being on the floor with him so far?
I just think his dynamic, his ability to push the tempo, put us in our spots offensively, competitive nature, just another threat on the floor. Anytime you can have multiple threats on the floor, just keep the defense at bay. Keeps the defense eyes off you individually, So his ability to get down the hill and attack the rim, either for a shot or for a kick out, is very key for our ball club.
LeBron, I was curious how you reacted to Trevor's procedure this week and how you think that will change things for you guys over the next 2 months while he's rehabbing from that.
Obviously, anytime you're dealing with surgery, you wish for the best. But we believe in our docs, and everything has been said that he'd come back in full strength. So, 6 to 8 weeks during a marathon may feel long for him, but we welcome him coming back 100%. We can't wait to get him back on the floor with us.
LeBron, what have you seen in the practice gym with you, Russ, and AD that you'd like to see come out on the floor by the end of the preseason?
I don't know. I mean, just want to continue to play ball, just continue to work our habits and things of that nature. I mean, preseason is I don't know. I care more about the practice course than I care about the preseason games. I mean, you get out there, you play in rotations, you're trying to figure out things of that nature. So there's so much that you can get out of a preseason game for me individually. But I love our practices. I love to see what we're doing and continue to work behind closed doors. So I don't know. I don't really put too much in the preseason, to be honest.
Hey, LeBron. Frank mentioned Kent as a guy who's stood out and impressed defensively. What have you thought of his defense so far? Has anyone else stood out or impressed you?
Well, he comes from a defensive-minded franchise, and that's Miami. You have to show up and play defense in order to be on the floor in Miami. So, I just love his competitive nature, and the fact that he's from Chicago. Those guys just they have another level of pride when it comes to basketball on both sides of the floor. So, I love what he brings to our ball club, and looking forward to having a great year.
LeBron, Frank said that he's made some adjustments to the offense compared to the last couple seasons, but the defensive principles mostly stayed intact. Not to dive deep into the playbook, but in general, what are those changes like? And then for someone like yourself, what's it like, because the ball's going to be in your hands so much, what's it like actually processing whatever those changes are and kind of downloading that new information?
Yeah, we pretty much got a whole new offensive system this year that we've been working through over our practices since training camp started. So, like I said, it's an adjustment for us offensively, just having guys in different positions, having guys in different places on the floor with our new look and what we're trying to do. So like I said, it's going to be a process for us, but I think it'd be better off for us in the long run. Keeps the ball moving from one side to another. Moving the ball. Not much with the dribble, but more with the pass. And obviously, we got downhill attackers, and Russ, K9, myself, Taylor, and guys that can do that. So we want to make sure we keep everyone involved offensively, keep the ball moving from one side to another, keep the defense, always at bay. So we're just working through it right now, which is a good thing. It's all about the process, as you'll always hear me talk about.
LeBron, it's kind of a two-part thing. You mentioned obviously the preseason for you individually at this point is just kind of a shrub. Who does it matter for on this team, and what have you seen kind of watching these last 3 games when guys have gotten opportunities? And then, I guess, secondly, what's sort of your plan then for the next 3?
It means something as far as individuals getting their rhythm, getting game shape. We have our practices, but being out on the floor and bump against another team and things of that nature, that helps. I was saying for me, it's nothing I'm going to learn in preseason at this point in my career. Nothing at all. I'm not going to learn anything. Nothing. I mean, zero. But working our habits and building camaraderie and chemistry on the floor, and that's always good, I think. But I said, I love the practices more than the preseason games, because you make the mistakes and you figure it out right there. You're able to stop it and let's talk about it, things of that nature, and go back and rewatch the things. You can do that obviously the next day after a preseason game, but you can do it right on the fly, in practices. So I'm more inclined to love those more at this point, because nothing on the floor.
One of a kind. There's nobody like him that can do everything that he's able to do at his size, and my job is to make sure I continue to push him each day, each practice, these games, where he can be at the top of his game each and every night. He's been in this league a long time, so he understands how to play the game. He knows when he needs to turn up, and I know now he wants to turn it up. So it's my job to make sure that that's up every single night.
All right, starting with you. Now we're talking some basketball. Now we're talking the fun stuff. Yes, that which we all love. Who should Westbrook be pushing more? Is it Anthony Davis or is it Westbrook?
I think he can do both. I don't know why. Look, Russell Westbrook is the ultimate competitor. By the way, Russell Westbrook did call Anthony Davis the ultimate weapon, Stephen A. Mm-hmm. Right? And let's talk about what happened to AD last year. Missed 36 games due to injuries. But I want you to know something about AD. AD has a talent to be one of the best to ever do it.
Yes.
But last year, career low in rebounds, fewest blocks, field goal percentage, and free throw line percentage. 21.8 points per game marked his lowest scoring average since his second year in the league.
Yep.
So if there's a reason why you're bringing Russ over to this team, yes, because of his pace, because of his aggression in which he can play, but also because of that mentality. And now what LeBron James has in his back pocket, instead of LeBron James always having to be that cop to try to push AD, or when he's not around to get AD to see the bigger picture, now you have guys like Russell Westbrook, now you guys have like Rondo. I'm not taking any accountability away from Russell Westbrook for Russell Westbrook, because he does have accountability for that. But I like the leadership and that mentality he brings to this team.
I have no problem with it, but I think that Russell Westbrook is a plus, not a minus, and I applaud his mentality. I love his fire. Y'all know that. What I would tell you is that the focus right now has to be on Anthony Davis in this regard. Russell Westbrook talked about it, and maybe it was because it was a question thrown to him by the media, and we understand that. Anthony Davis has literally had about 50 injuries in his career. 50. Anthony Davis has missed about 155 games in his career. Where I stand is that somewhere along the line, when Russell Westbrook talks about him turning it up, Anthony Davis had to acknowledge that's something you didn't do in the past. And that's where we get to Anthony Davis. What possible excuse could you have? What did I say last year? When I was concerned about the Lakers, they were walking around town because, as you know, I do get to L.A.
Quite often
these days, okay?
We know. You're bi-coastal. You're fancy. We know.
I do get to L.A.
Everyone, Stephen has multiple homes. We know.
No. I'm just saying, all I'm saying, I ain't going all that. I'm just telling you I frequent L.A.
Oh,
and I love it. I mean, I play the song I Love L.A. every morning. I mean, I just do.
Geez.
Okay, here's the deal. You won the title. What were you doing in the offseason?
Mm-hmm.
You see, at moments like this, as critical as we can be of LeBron James from time to time, this is when we need to step back and pay homage to LeBron. This is why he's on the Mount Rushmore, to the Kobe's, to the MJ's, or whatever. They're the marquee. They're the headline. And there's an innate internal responsibility that they feel to answer the call. So it's not just about my ability. It's about making sure that I'm in shape. It's about making sure that I maximize my potential and that I'm ready for all comers as an individual because everyone's looking at me. And my response to that is, how could you have a teammate like LeBron that just helped deliver you your first title ever? And I'm not insulting Anthony Davis. I'm asking a question because it's something that I would ask him to his face. If you didn't do all you could physically to have yourself in peak condition, how could you allow that to happen to you when you know you playing with a champion? You playing with a guy that the bullseye is perpetually on his back. How could you have that slippage? And so it's great that Russell Westbrook is there. Russell Westbrook's chasing the ring too now. But we've never looked at Russell Westbrook and said durability is an issue, conditioning's an issue. Only time we ever question Russell Westbrook's conditioning in his career is when the brother came down with COVID.
I agree with you. I say I agree with you to an extent.
Okay.
But I do want to provide you some cover on this.
Please.
The last 2 seasons have been condensed seasons, and they've been quick turnarounds.
Okay.
So for AD's body, I hear what you're saying.
Right.
Some of the things that I've heard about training and taking that seriously in the offseason, putting on that flexibility, that weight, body muscle-wise. But there is something to be said about playing the amount of games they played in those condensed times and the time they've had off in between.
You know what? And I'll throw this back at you. I know LeBron is a freak of nature.
Yeah.
But I would be pretty embarrassed if a dude that is older than me is consistently in better shape than me when we have the same profession. That would bother me.
Well, a lot of that's luck, though, Stephen A. too now.
Again, I'm not talking, injuries happen. I'm talking about conditioning. I'm talking about you roll up in and you ready. Last year, you know he wasn't. You covered the NBA. You know he wasn't ready at the start. And that's on him. And I love Anthony Davis. Love Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis has the potential to be, he is one of the all-time greats. He truly is. And he's a great player, great guy. All I'm trying to say is that you got to know when LeBron James is your teammate, that brother is likely going to need you as the season wanes because he's expecting to go deep in the playoffs. You got to be ready, man. You got to be ready. And last year, a few Lakers were not ready.
Agreed. I agree with you on that.
And that is inexcusable when LeBron James is your teammate because if nothing else, physically, that brother is going to be ready.
Wasn't all-time high in injuries last season for a lot of players. That's all.
Okay.
I hear what you're saying.
Okay. I'm not talking about this last year.
No.
And LeBron talked about that too, the short offseason. You're 100% right. Warriors at Lakers, October 19th, this time with Klay Thompson. And obviously, Russ will be on the court. Can't wait. Lakers' second best odds to win the title behind the Brooklyn Nets.
I know he can't shoot. If he shoots 75% from the free throw line, he could average 25 a game. And he's clearly one of the elite defenders in the game.
I'm asking you, does anybody want? I'm not making a statement. I'm asking you because you're more into this stuff than I am because I'm still on vacation, brother.
Let me transition. Yesterday, I had Carmelo Anthony on First Take. Obviously, he's got his new memoir out. He's got a new book out. Congrats to him. But we were talking about the Lakers and how old they were. And he was like, we built for the playoffs. We'll be ready. We're incredibly confident with what we bring to the table, and it's championship or bust for us. That's how it has to be. Is it championship or bust for the Los Angeles Lakers this upcoming season?
The great Carmelo Anthony was absolutely correct. I have no rebuttal. I have nothing to say. He's absolutely correct. A lot of people always talk about age, but when you show me a young team that's dominated, listen, young teams always make noise, but when they get to the playoffs, what do you always say? Oh, they don't have enough experience. When it comes to the most experience, the Brooklyn Nets and the Lakers have the most experience when it comes to age. I'm not worried about all that young talk. Listen, the game is different now anyway. Everybody's just picking and popping anyway. So, whoever plays the hardest is, the team that's, going to make it. If both teams stay healthy, I would like to see those teams in the finals. But I like Carmelo. He was raised by us. Westbrook was raised by us. LeBron was raised by us. So, when they get angry, they play very well. So now they're angry. Everybody's doubting them. They built this little super team. Carmelo Anthony is correct. It's championship or bust.
Well, with Klay Thompson coming back, the Warriors are not young spring chickens. They've got some championship experience. Kawhi Leonard's a champion. He's in L.A. with the Clippers with Paul George and those boys. What about them?
Don't bring up the Clippers. Do not do that. Do not do that.
Why not?
No, sir. What you mean by that? Don't do it. Don't do it.
Why
anyway,
can't I bring up the Clippers?
Golden State, yes, you can bring them up. My favorite player, Steph Curry. Klay is coming back. My main man, Draymond. The young fella, they got some interesting pieces. The way they play, the way they move the ball, that fast-paced game, if they can get it rolling like they used to get it rolling, they're definitely going to be a problem. Listen, don't talk about teams that ain't make it yet.
Okay, fair enough. That's why you told me don't mention the Clippers. Let me transition to the Eastern Conference. Do you see anybody standing in the way of the Brooklyn Nets getting to the NBA Finals this year? Anybody?
Of course.
Who?
The champion. Come on, man. The Milwaukee. Let me tell you something. Don't disrespect the champ because, all these teams got all these big name players. Get a champ his due. He did it the right way. He did it the respectful way. I'm going to give that man all the respect until they beat him. The new Superman is going to be a problem in the East, period. I said it.
Well,
Philly's... hold on. In the words of my boy Big Perk, carry the hell on.
Listen, you got Milwaukee. Miami acquired Kyle Lowry and P.J. Tucker from Milwaukee. They got P.J. Tucker from Milwaukee, okay? So they're joining Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and those boys. Miami is a threat. Philly is still there. The Atlanta Hawks were in the conference finals. You don't give it. What about those guys?
Those guys will make noise, especially Miami. The culture that Pat Riley set 10, 15 years ago. Eric Spoelstra's still one of the most elite coaches in the league. They're going to make some noise if healthy. But I'm not going to disrespect the champ. I like Milwaukee. I like Brooklyn. Those two are going to battle it out again. 6-7 game series, and may the best team win. Again, in a perfect situation, myself, including with you, and Miss Molly. Hello, Miss Molly. How are you?
Hey, how we doing?
Good. We probably would like to see the Brooklyn Nets versus the LA Lakers in the finals.
Mm. And who's the number one threat to the Lakers in the West?
Utah.
Yeah,
you heard us.
Utah with Donovan. They got Donovan Mitchell. What else?
Oh, hey, I'm going to be so hard on Rudy this year. Rudy coming with a vengeance.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah, Rudy coming this year.
Okay. Before I let you go, man, listen, Shaq and the Fool. We know how hilarious that is, Shaq and the Fool. I want to know who's your top candidate to win the MVP for the Shaq and the Fool award this year. Who's the number one guy on your list? Who's that dude?
Is Otto Porter still in the league?
I don't even know. I don't even know. Now, that might have been the funniest of all time when he stood there frozen on the wing as a guy he was defending ran all the way in the opposite end of the court. That was hilarious.